joke again. This lady dies and goes in front of God, goes basically to heaven and says, God, I didn't want to die. I'm young. Can you give me more life? I don't want to die yet. I don't think it's my time. And God says, okay, child, I'll give you 30 more years. You're going to have 30 more years to live. So she goes back. She's exhilarated, just happy and excited. So she says, I have 30 more years. God has given me 30 more years of chance. I'm gonna go get full makeover, plastic surgery. So she gets all plastic surgery. She spent thousands and thousands on plastic surgery. She changes herself. She crosses while she's crossing the street. A car hits her. She dies. She goes in front of God and says, God, I thought you told me I had 30 more years. He said, oops, I'm so sorry, my child. I did not recognize you with that plastic surgery. Just as it's a given fact that 1 out of every 1 person is going to die and dies, in my opinion, it's also a fact that 1 out of every 1 person is going to experience or has experienced it or is experiencing it right now. And that is the feeling of loneliness, alienation, just feeling no support from anywhere around you. Like everybody's against you. They might not be against you, but you just feel that everybody's against you and nobody understands you. Nobody even understands your language. And you just feel sad and lonely and you can't express yourself to anybody. And that is the time that you will know who you really are. Whether you're a weak person or whether you are a confident, strong person. Every single major character in the Holy Scriptures, in the Old and in the New Testament, has gone through the same thing that I've talked about. This feeling of loneliness, this feeling of just even depression, this feeling of that everybody's against you and wants to kill you. We could go to all the way from Joseph. The whole family was against him, put him in the pit, literally killed him, wanted to kill him, to Elijah, this powerful prophet who experienced this. He was sore vexed in his spirit. He was extremely depressed. He was extremely depressed because Jezebel was looking for him to slew him, to kill him, and he was afraid. From who else? From all the way to Jesus, who was all alone on the cross. Thousands were following him, but when he was on the cross, he felt all alone. Jesus Christ has experienced this 100% of loneliness, where to a point that the Father, Jehovah, turned his face, couldn't look at him because he had all of the world's sins upon him. So the Father couldn't look at him at that time. Okay, so he felt extreme loneliness and alienation. One of my favorite is David, to a point that the children of Israel were getting ready to stone him. Go to 1 Samuel 30 and 5. And David's 2 wives were taken captives. David's 2 wives and everybody's wives and children were taken captives from the Amalekites. They came and they raided their camp. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his son. People were contemplating stoning him. They were getting ready to stone David and to kill him, because all the Amalekites came into their camp and took all their wives and their children and everybody. Okay, go to 1 Samuel 30 and 6. For the people spoke of stoning him, because the souls of all the people was grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. But this is the important part. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. Another translation, emboldened himself, strengthened himself, relied on the eternal his God, and took courage, laid hold on God, took courage from God, found refuge in God. Now, David didn't, take medication, go to the doctor and get prescription medication for his depression. Everyone is against me. David didn't call the cops. David didn't go to his closest relative. David didn't do any of those things. David just learned to encourage himself in the Lord. So he went to God. He basically went to God for everything. And you know, the only time, me personally, I've experienced this. I've experienced loneliness and depression and melancholy and felt like nobody understood me and didn't have my back. That is the worst feeling that you could get. And I just found encouragement through the Lord. I couldn't encourage myself. No, you can't encourage yourself by who you are, by human capacity, by human religion and human philosophy and humanistic psychology. Nobody, nothing, no medication can encourage you. It could put a band-aid on, but it can't fix you. The only thing that can fix you and encourage you is God himself. When you have everything against you, he is not against. You're saying, why does God put us in these situations? Because he could deliver us from these unwanted darknesses and depression and all that. Because that's the time, I felt that personally, that's the time that you know who you are. That's the time when you find out the truth about yourself and what's inside of you. It comes out, it gets revealed. Do you get shriveled up when something like that happens to you? Or do you get stronger and you become this fearless person because you rely on God? Okay? It makes you stronger. It makes you stronger. That's when you find out that you are a secure person, that you are a strong person, that everything can be against you and you could still have peace, you could still have happiness, and you could. It's very easy to be happy, to have joy when you have support, you have a good family, good parents, good children, good husband, a wife, a good mate. But the truth you comes out when you don't have those things, and when there comes a time where everybody's against you and nobody has your back, to a point that you want to kill yourself because you don't have hope. People kill themselves because of depression, because they don't see hope. When you lose your hope, you die. Might as well just die when you lose your hope. But your hope is in God, okay? That's the time that you will know how strong you are, how confident you are. You know, people who criticize you, I always say this, are obviously lower than you. Because if I'm lower than you, I have to pull you down. But if I'm higher than you, I can't do anything but to pull you up. No sane person, normal person, no normal sane person who is psychologically healthy, emotionally, psychologically, physically, spiritually healthy will not criticize you, will not put you down with their pontifications and belittle you constantly. There's a difference between criticism and constructive criticism. There's a difference. If somebody always has the proclivity to criticize you and to belittle you, that is projecting their insecurities on you. The truth of the matter is they have rooted insecurities themselves. Okay? They are very little people. They are very little people that want to pull you down, that want to criticize you, that want to belittle you. So why do you give those kind of people the time of the day? Why? Satan has this thing where he wants you to focus on the problem so that you don't go to the promise. The more you focus on this little problem, you don't see the big picture that God has for you. You know what I mean? He tries to get your eyes off of God and off of what God has for you on the problem. So why would I even focus on little people who criticizes me, who's against me? No, I don't have time to do that. All I have time to do is find out my destiny and my will, the will that God has for you. All you should be concerned about is God's will for you. And all you should pray about is, God, give me, I just want to be in your will. I just want to be in God's will. I don't know what's good, what's bad for me. I don't know who's good, who's bad for me. I just want to be in God's will. God, give me the desires of your heart, of my heart. Trust me, God is not trying in any shape, way, or form to kill you and to destroy you when he puts you into this state of loneliness and melancholy and feeling depressed and feeling alone and feeling that the whole world is against you. All your loved ones are against you. He's not doing that to put you down. He's doing that to push you and to say, you could do it, you could do this, and to make you stronger. You don't discipline your child to destroy them. You discipline your child to push them to that victory, because you know that they have to grow. They have to grow up. God just cannot allow you to live life without any problems, just put the silver spoon in your mouth your whole life, and for you to grow. You will not grow like that. You will be a little baby. You cannot be powerful. There is not one single person in the Bible, one single powerful person in the Bible that hasn't felt ostracized, alienated, secluded, depressed, alone, like the whole world is against you. Your loved ones are against you. There is not one person that hasn't felt that. And that's the only way that you will prevail over your enemy. You will prevail over your problem. You will have victory. You cannot have victory by living a life without any problems. You don't grow that way. You do not grow that way. A seed cannot be a seed. A seed cannot be a tree and a fruit without dying under darkness, without dying under the soil. You have to be in darkness for you to grow. You don't just grow in light, you grow in darkness.